I'd like to make my acknowledgement. I've been in Vancouver for approximately a year, more than a year, and I live in Coquitlam, and it is located on the traditional unceded territory of Coast Salish nations of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam people. And I really love beautiful nature over here. And I'm so grateful to the indigenous people of this area for their stewardship and care of this land. So I'd like to start with this picture in our session. This is a bridge from Honduras, and it's also known as the Bridge of Rising Sun. And it was built during the years 1996 until 1998. It lasted 2 years. And after the bridge was finalized, in the same year, the bridge experienced a heavy flooding, and it caused a significant damage to the nation in Honduras and its infrastructure, and many bridges, including the old bridge. There was also another bridge called Old Choluteca Bridge. They were all damaged, and this new Choluteca Bridge survived with minor damage. While the bridge itself was in perfect condition, the roads on either side of the bridge vanished completely, leaving no visible trace of their prior existence. And in addition to that, Choluteca River changed its course, and it's no longer flowed beneath the bridge. So the bridge quickly became known as the Bridge to Nowhere. So how would you comment on the success of this bridge now? What does it remind you? There are no roads connected to the bridge, and it's just a bridge in the place of nowhere. It was constructed by Japanese, and Japanese company was responsible for building that bridge. So this was a project for that Japanese company. And they built an extremely strong and excellent project. On their side, they finalized the project on time, on budget, and with an excellent quality. And even that strong flooding did not give harm to the bridge. So would you call this project a successful project? What's your idea?
I'd say for the Japanese, yes, because they did what they said that they were going to do, and it's withstanding it. For the Honduras, probably not. If it doesn't connect anywhere and leads, doesn't help anyone, then I'd say that would be a little bit of a fail for on their side of things.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
I agree actually with Julie. I work with a lot of military people, and so they go abroad to do a lot of different missions. And we just had one return from Philippines, and they said that they were there for 10 days and their stuff didn't even show up for 7 days, but they would consider what they had to do there a success because they still were able to do other projects or other things. It just wasn't the main one. So I would say I would still consider that success for sure.
Any other thoughts? Well, actually, yeah. I mean, whenever we define the project as building that bridge, yes, it is a successful bridge, but it doesn't create any value. And in our personal lives and in our business lives, we sometimes focus very much on the output. This is the output, not the outcome, because there is a vision on the background, and the Honduras people gave a portion of that project to the Japanese people to support that vision. But at the end, the vision was not achieved. So the project did not create any value on Honduras. In our private lives and in business lives, we sometimes very much focus on the output. This is the output, not the outcome. This is the output of the project, which does not create any value. Even if it is finalized in the budget, in the time, with the expected quality, whenever it doesn't create any value, then often the stakeholders or the customer does not name the project as a successful project. I will give some other examples as well. This was my breakout session question, but since we are only a limited number of people, no need to go to different breakout sessions. So this is my question. Can a project be considered successful if its output, like the Choluteca Bridge, meets all the specifications, but the outcome, I mean, its usability, does not meet stakeholder needs? Why or why not? You have already answered to a certain extent. The difficulty in real life is that when we finalize our product, we are sometimes proud of our work, and we say that, well, we did what they expected from us. But in the eyes of the stakeholder or the customer, if he or she feels that it doesn't create any value, in most cases, the project is defined as an unsuccessful project. That is my experience. I will give other examples. I would like to outline my learning outcome from this session. So my objective in this workshop is to help you in gaining clarity on the distinction between the terms output, outcome, and impact, and use this understanding to align project outcomes with stakeholder expectations. So this is a learning outcome I define for our session. Let me give another example. It's a metaphor. The metaphor is actually a Swiss knife. Let's say I'm the project manager and I start a project, a simple project, only creating one knife. But during the course of the project, the customer requests from me some additional functionalities. All those parts are actually approved by the management. And at the end, I experience a very difficult project, and I finalize it with our team in a successful way, and we are proud of our work. We finalize the project, and we give the functionality, we give the platform to the customer. And since I'm proud of our work, our team's work, I want to see the value it creates for the customer. After 6 months, I make a visit to the customer side to see how they use the tool. And when I visit them, I notice that they are using this tool only for peeling an apple. And I asked them, why are you using this? Why you're not using this, the other functionalities of the tool? Are you using only for peeling an apple? They say, yes, that is what we need for the time being. Then why have you forced us to make all those other functionalities, obsolete functionalities? We have allocated this much of resource to that project. They may say, well, we thought that it would be beneficial for us. Maybe we can use it in the future. So it is a very demotivating conversation, such a conversation. Whenever I share such a case with project teams, they often say that, well, that is the attitude of the customer. They always want everything, and they are not, most of them are not real needs, but they demand it, they request them. So they have the tendency to put the blame on the customer side. But putting blame on the customer side does not create any value. That team should ask the question to themselves, what could we have done different to develop an awareness on the customer side that those functionalities are not creating any value, to minimize the content, but still creating the value expected from the project. So that's a very difficult conversation actually between the customer and the project team, persuading them to focus on the value creating parts of any project. I'd like to give you another example. I hope most of you have seen, maybe visited Sydney Opera House. Have any one of you have visited Sydney? Yeah. It's one of the most popular buildings in the world. And it is so popular that even when I was a child, there was no internet, and I was aware of that building. I have never been to Australia. I've never been to Sydney, but I know that building. And again, this building is an output of a project. And the project was scheduled as 4 years. And it started in 1957. And the foreseen budget was $7 million. And they finalized the building. Would you name this project as a successful project?
I don't know. You said foreseen budget of 7 million. Was it within that 7 million? I have a feeling it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lived in Australia, but I never actually went inside of the opera house. I just mostly took pictures from the outside of it. So it looked good from the outside. So I can't really say from the inside, maybe it also didn't meet expectations.
Well, this is the background story. They finalized it in 16 years, and they invested $102 million to complete that project. So how would you name this project? Is it a successful project or unsuccessful project?
I think it depends from
And
the government's side of things if they're the one who paid for it. I don't know if it's a government building. I would say that it wasn't, other than you got it built. Even from the developer side of things. Well, the developer made a lot more money, so success for them, I guess. But from my perspective, no, I would, if I was a taxpayer and if that was a government building, I would be extremely upset.
yeah, certainly it upsets the government, the owners of the project. But at the end, today, after so many years, nobody pays attention to this part. And they only focus on the value it creates for Australia, for Sydney. So certainly, I mean, all of the people, everybody sees it as a successful project. So yes, timing is important. I mean, schedule important, budget is important. But if the project hits the expected value of the stakeholders, then the other side becomes less important. Here, that was my second question. The role of project manager is actually he tries to construct a bridge. His main focus is the output, but it should lead to the desired outcomes. And in order to lead that one, there are two aspects over here. One is the project management success, and the other one is the product success. Sydney Opera House was certainly a success in product. The quality of the product, design was excellent. So although the project management success was not, well, it failed actually, they do not pay too much attention to that part. Since the product is successful, they say, well, it created value, it served to the vision of the government, so it's a successful project. So whenever we're working on any initiative, we have to be aware of the real expected value on the side of the customer. We name it as the outcome and the impact. The output, yes, it is important, but it's only the tool. I mean, the target is not only the output. The output, we have to create an output which creates the expected value, and it's defined in the outcome and impact. Outcome is comparatively short-term, middle-term value created by the outcome. Impact is long-term success. And let me give you another example. This is from London. I don't know whether you have seen this Millennium Dome in London. I have not visited it, but it's a very special building, and It was mainly built for Millennium celebrations, and it's the 9th largest building in the world by usable volume. It's a very large building. And although the project achieved its technical output, finalized in the expected timing, the project in London, the Millennium Dome project, is often labeled as a failure. And the background reason is mainly attributed to the disconnection between the project's outputs and the outcomes. So there was a disconnection. They built this giant building and they opened it at the beginning of the millennium. And after a year, they did not know what to do with this giant building. So they were allocating significant amount of money for this operational, for the maintenance of this building, but they don't know what to do with it. And only after 7 years, they found a solution, and they turned it into an entertainment venue in London. And after 7 years, it started creating value in London. So whenever we start any project, as a project manager or the person who manages the initiative, we focus on the output. But we are experiencing a very fast changing world, and our initial assumptions may change significantly, and the output may not create the expected outcome or impact after several months. So as a project manager, I have to understand the expected outcome and output. And in most cases, the project managers mainly focus on the output, ignoring the outcome and the impact. So this is a high-level view of an organizational structure. I mean, the left side mainly focuses on the operational side. For example, if we are a manufacturing company, it's an ongoing process. We manufacture chocolates, for example. But on the right side, the blue part is the change management side. In order to improve our performance, in order to strengthen our sustainability in the market, we have to make some changes. So in order to create a value by starting in an initiative, we have to understand the vision and mission of the organization, the organizational strategy and objectives. Without understanding them, only focusing on an output often creates problems in projects. So the inputs and activities on the left part, they are mainly under the accountability, responsibility of the project manager. The right side, outcome impact, are mainly managed by the people who has the power, executives, the management side. And any initiative is built from right to left. They first define the impact and then the outcome, and then delegate that vision to a project manager to be executed. And the project manager starts from A to B. So any initiative, any project requires a well understanding of the outcome and the impact. So there are two dimensions of project success. So one is the product success and the other one is the project management success. For example, Sydney Opera House is a very excellent example for a product success. It's not successful in the project management field. But since the project success is excellent, then we name it as a successful project. Boeing 777 is an excellent example for a successful project. It is on the project management area and the product success. It is a very successful project. So I'd like to finalize my presentation by this famous conversation between Alice and the Cheshire Cat in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And when Alice says she doesn't much care which way she ought to go, the cat wisely points out, then it doesn't matter which way to go. This dialogue captures an essential point in creating value through projects. Like Alice, if we do not have a clear vision of what we aim to achieve, our path forward may lack direction. And in projects, output does not show us the direction. In any project, understanding the desired outcomes and impact is crucial. It shapes our steps and the choices we make along the way. By defining where we want to go, we can ensure each decision and action aligns with our ultimate goals and brings value to all stakeholders. And in any project, we need to ask ourselves, where do I want this project, this initiative to lead? With clarity of purpose, the path will reveal itself. So this is my presentation for my Zoom session. I hope it's created some ideas on your side, maybe broadened to a certain extent in the process of value creation in the context of project management. So I would love to have your feedback regarding the session.
Yeah, I thought
Any questions? Any questions? I would love to try to answer them.
I honestly thought this was great. I feel like you should present at my workplace. No lies. Like they need to hear this for when they're starting any project. And I never thought of the Sydney Opera House with, that it created value after the fact, and you know what I mean? I wouldn't have thought of it in that way. So that was really interesting.
It's a very popular project, and you can find lots of material related to that story. There are lots of other interesting parts of that project, but since we have limited time, I do not have the opportunity to share all those details. But then you can check it in our internet. Thank you.
You're definitely a storyteller for sure. Like all your analogies made sense. Like you made sense. You made it like more digestible using all kind of like the storytelling and all the analogies. And yeah, just the delivery was great, and the slides were very clean and easy to follow and very simple, which I find is great for the learner's retention. So good job.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just a second, which Melissa was saying, I thought it was really well put together, really easy to follow along. A new topic in some ways, but some of it is like stuff you kind of know and can put the pieces together. And I like the bridge picture at the start to kind of get our attention and to, start the topic off. That was really interesting and captivating, got our attention for sure. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia.
It's not an easy topic sometimes to talk about. So I do applaud you for using some real life examples that we can relate to. And that just helps try to understand what you're talking about. So I appreciate that too. I have some friends that in Honduras, and I'm interested a little bit more about that bridge. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very famous bridge, and I've noticed lots of speakers make reference to that bridge. It's in that sense, it's a popular bridge.
I think it can be used. It can really be used actually for quite a few different things. Again, what Julie said, just to get people's attention, it's very striking just to have it there. So, yeah, that's interesting, and it can be.
Do you often find like a disconnect between the project managers and the stakeholders? Is that something is it often that you see both are on the same page, or is it often not?
Well, the project management world is not very much satisfied with the level of project performance. I mean, the business world is investing a lot in project management. You might have heard, the agile processes, etc., Scrum, lots of certifications, courses, etc. But still, the surveys do not show that top management is satisfied with the overall success of the project. And behind that, this topic is one of the reasons because of that low performance. I mean, the project managers mainly focus on the output because it's easy to define output. And in most cases, even the management focuses on output because defining an outcome, defining a value is not always easy. Whenever the team mainly focuses on output, we are experiencing a very fast changing world. And a project may last 6 months or a year or 2 years. And can you imagine the possible changes in those 2 years? And you are in the middle of the project. You have started, for example, 6 months ago, but the technology changes, the circumstances changes, and you are still sticking on the old version of that output because you are not very much aware of what the outcome is or what the expected impact is. It is also, to a certain extent, related with the performance management system as well. Unfortunately, the performance management systems are also not aligned with this concept. So you give a budget, they give a schedule. So your role is to finalize this project, this scope within this schedule, within this budget. So whenever they're also related with the performance concept, the project manager is forced to work in a rigid structure, ignoring the changing circumstances. And at the end, they finalize an output, but that output, for example, a product is an obsolete product because the competitors have already developed a much better version of that product. So this is one of the popular concepts in project management world.
Yeah, and it's hard because the outcomes, some of them are out of your control too, like the flood with the bridge. Like they worked hard and built a really good bridge, and then they had no control over a flood, and now that's considered like a failed project. So it's not an easy thing to do, obviously.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing, but actually, since that bridge was built by Japanese people and it's a project, and the roads connecting that bridge to the other parts of Honduras was also defined by some other projects. So there were ongoing projects to finalize the whole structure. So it was a program. There was also a program manager. So that is the accountability of the program manager. He has to foresee the impact of possible floods, and he should have taken the required measures for building a road connecting road to that bridge as durable as that Japanese bridge. So we need to see the big picture, not only one project. Well, it has been 36 minutes since we started, so we're exactly on time. If you have any questions, I'm here. I have no time limitation. I again would like to thank you for joining my session, and I'm here, and I'm in the forum as well. You can just ask your further questions in the forum as well. I prepared my asynchronous session to support this Zoom session. So it's again a bit difficult concept. So that's why it did not attract too much attention in the forum. If you check the content out there, you will see some further details related to this topic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was
Good night.
lovely.
Thank you very much. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.